Welcome. This is the Senior Safety Advice Podcast, and we are so glad that you've made it to a calmer corner of your day. Here, we focus on real solutions, practical help, and the kind of encouragement we could all use a little more of. So let's get to it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Senior Safety Advice Podcast. I'm Esther, a retired occupational therapist and currently a certified aging in place specialist. So today, sticking with this month's theme of Heart, Health, and Emotional Resilience Month, it is February. Today, we're going to talk about breathing techniques for stress relief. And I want to start by saying this. If you're feeling stressed, tense, overwhelmed, or just plain worn down, you're not doing anything wrong. Your body is doing what bodies do. Stress shows up in the breath first. I bet you didn't know that. Stress can show up in your breath, your shallow breathing, but it can also show up in tight shoulders, clenched jaws, painful back, all kinds of issues. My husband, who was a physician, my late husband, who was a physician assistant, used to come home. He worked in family practice, and he used to tell me that the majority of people who were coming in to see him for physical ailments didn't really have physical ailments. They were just stressed, and I believe it. People don't realize that the breath and stress that can come from that, from not doing it correctly or from not practicing, simple exercises to calm yourself down, can really impact your physical body. At the very least, that what they can do is, exacerbate whatever issues you may be having. Breathing, you may not know, is one of the fastest ways to calm down the nervous system. So we're going to be talking about that today, because it's amazing. You don't need equipment. You don't necessarily need a quiet room, although I think it helps. And you don't necessarily need to lie down. You just need a few moments of attention. And honestly, that's what makes this so freaking powerful. I've worked with patients who felt their stress ease in under a minute after using these breathing techniques. So we're going to be talking about that. Because what happens with these breathing techniques is that their body finally feels safe. And that's really what breathing does. It sends a message to your body that says, you're okay right now. All right. One of the first things that I would teach my patients is simply noticing their breath. A lot of them would give me a look like, what are you talking about? But not many of us take the time to sit back and just close our eyes and notice our breathing pattern. I'm not talking about changing it or controlling it, just noticing it. Notice how you're breathing. And where do you feel it? Do you feel it in your chest, in your shoulders, in your belly? Most stressed people breathe high and shallow. That kind of breathing keeps the body on alert. So even noticing how you're breathing can really create a shift, because that's when you can begin to change it a little. Another simple technique that I love is slowing the exhale. You don't necessarily have to take a deep breath, because honestly, that can actually feel uncomfortable for some people. Instead, breathe in naturally, then breathe out a little slower than usual. Longer exhales tell the nervous system to relax. I used to often say something like, let the air leave you like you're gently fogging a mirror. I know I've said that before in other podcasts, but it's true. Soft, slow, and unforced exhaling. Another technique that works very well is counted breathing. Now, nothing fancy. Inhale for a count of 3 and exhale for a count of 5. Now, that longer exhale, as I said before, is really the key. Now, if counting feels stressful, then don't do it. You can just think maybe in and out and just drag out the word out. Breathing should never feel like work. If it does, then ease up, figure out how to do it your own way. That's something that I think people don't always realize. They try to do exercises exactly as they're taught. And that works for some exercises. You have to do some physical exercises exactly that way in order for it to be productive and in order for it to not hurt yourself. But with breathing is a little different. You can find your own pattern. Another technique I use a lot is hand on belly breathing. It's simple. You place one hand on your chest and the other hand on your belly. And see if you can let the belly move more than your chest while you're breathing. This helps to activate the calming part of the nervous system. And it's especially helpful for people who carry a lot of stress in their chest. You may not have ever noticed that you can breathe like that, your stomach coming in and out, and how good it can actually make you feel. That awareness alone can change how safe the body feels. Another breathing habit that helps with stress is breathing with rhythm. Inhale, pause briefly, exhale, pause again. Just a soft rhythm, no forcing. That predictability calms the brain. It's especially helpful when anxiety feels jittery or scattered. If you've ever felt anxiety, you know what I'm talking about. And I say this a lot in many of my podcasts, but please don't aim for perfection. Breathing doesn't have to be done perfectly. If you get distracted, that's okay. If your mind wanders, that's normal. Just come back to the breath. That's enough. If you want to start over or continue, it's up to you. Now, another technique that I've seen a lot of benefit from is pairing breath with movement. Slow breathing while rocking gently. Slow breathing while walking slowly. Slow breathing while stretching your arms. That's especially good in the mornings. I like to sit at the edge of my bed and do that. That's a great way to wake up. I think so, at least. Movement plus breath can feel more natural for some people, especially if sitting increases your anxiety. It used to for my late husband all the time. He had a hard time just sitting. Another thing I want to mention is breathing during stressful moments. Before standing up, before answering the phone, before opening an email, and God help us, before turning on the news. Just don't watch the news. That'll eliminate a lot of stress. One slow breath before action can change how the moment feels. It actually creates space, and space reduces stress. I've especially seen this work very well with family caregivers who often feel overwhelmed and completely stressed from their life in general at the moment. So one breath before responding to anything instead of reacting to something. That breath protects your nervous system. And let's be truthful. At the end of the day, that protects your health. And we should all know by now that chronic stress keeps the body inflamed. It affects your sleep. It affects your blood pressure. It affects your heart health. It affects your emotional health. Breathing helps interrupt that cycle. Even short moments matter. You don't need a 20, 30-minute session. And you don't necessarily need a routine. Although if that helps you, definitely do that. You just need a few intentional breaths sprinkled throughout the day. It can be 3 every now and then. It can be 5 every now and then. Whatever you can do. And over time, believe me, those moments do add up. The body learns that it doesn't have to stay on high alert. And that's when stress loses some of its grip on you. Another thing I noticed a lot when working with my patients is that people tend to hold their breath without realizing it. I used to do that a lot while taking my tests in college. During your concentration, during when you're in pain, during when you're in the midst of worry, you tend to hold your breath and you don't even know it. If you catch yourself doing that, just gently exhale. That alone can release tension. And here's something that I really want you to hear. Breathing is not about fixing yourself. It's about supporting yourself. It's a form of kindness. It's a way of saying to yourself, I'm here, I'm listening, I'm safe enough in this moment. And that really matters, not only for your physical health, but emotional health as well. So if stress feels heavy right now, try one slow breath. That's it, just one. You don't need to do more. You can if you want to. Small moments of calm build resilience, and resilience helps you face whatever comes next. Well, I hope that is good for you today. That's all I have for you today. I want to thank you again for listening, for hanging out till the end. If today's episode gave you some useful insights or some new ideas, then please share it with someone who might find it helpful as well. You can discover even more expert tips and helpful guides for seniors and caregivers at seniorsafetyadvice.com. And if you're searching for an Aging in Place specialist, then please visit our website at aginginplacedirectory.com. We're working hard to get that directory up and running and filled up. Come back tomorrow for more useful tips, insights, and ideas right here on the Senior Safety Advice Podcast. And hey, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel or the podcast yet, then please go ahead and do that right now. That really helps us reach more people who could use this kind of support and information. So until next time, take care of yourself and the ones that you love.
This podcast is part of our mission to help older adults live safely and independently. If you'd like to take the next step, visit aginginplacedirectory.com, where you'll find specialists, helpful resources, and inspiration to make every home your place to thrive.